Did you know that some people believe in life after death? It's a concept that has fascinated and perplexed humanity for as long as we can remember. From ancient civilizations to modern-day thinkers, the idea that our existence might continue in some form after we pass away has been a source of endless speculation and wonder. It's a question that has haunted humanity for centuries. Time and again, we find ourselves pondering the mysteries of what lies beyond the veil of death. Is there a heaven or a hell? Do we come back in another form, or do we simply cease to exist? These questions have no definitive answers, but they continue to captivate our imaginations. What if, just what if, there was something beyond this mortal coil? What if the stories of spirits, ghosts, and reincarnation were more than just tales told around a campfire? What if they held a kernel of truth that could change the way we view life and death forever? We're about to dive into a story, a real head-scratcher, that just might make you question everything you thought you knew. It's a tale that has baffled skeptics and believers alike, a story that challenges our understanding of reality and the afterlife. This is the story of the Pollock Twins. Their story is one that has been passed down through the years, a story that continues to intrigue and mystify those who hear it. John and Florence Pollock were a happily married couple living in Hexham, England. They were a typical family of the time, enjoying the simple pleasures of life and raising their children with love and care. They were blessed with two beautiful daughters, Joanna and Jacqueline, born in 1941. The girls were the light of their parents' lives, bringing joy and laughter into their home. Tragically, their idyllic life was shattered in 1957 when the girls, aged just 6, were killed in a car accident. The loss was devastating, leaving a void that could never be filled. But this is not just a story of loss. It's also a story of hope, mystery, and the unexplainable. What happened next would leave the Pollock family and the world questioning the very nature of life and death. In the years that followed, John and Florence struggled to come to terms with their grief. They sought solace in their faith and in each other, but the pain of losing their daughters was a constant presence in their lives. Then in 1958, something extraordinary happened. Florence gave birth to twin girls, Gillian and Jennifer. The family was overjoyed, but as the twins grew, strange and inexplicable events began to unfold. The twins began to exhibit behaviors and knowledge that seemed impossible for their young age. They spoke of events and people from Joanna and Jacqueline's lives, things they could not have known. They even had birthmarks that matched those of their deceased sisters. The Pollocks were astounded and began to wonder if their daughters had somehow returned to them. The story of the Pollock twins has been the subject of much debate and speculation. Some believe it to be a case of reincarnation, while others think it might be a manifestation of the parents' grief and longing. Whatever the explanation, the story of the Pollock twins remains one of the most compelling and mysterious tales of our time. As we ponder the mysteries of life and death, the story of the Pollock twins reminds us that there is still so much we do not understand. Perhaps in the end it's the questions themselves that keep us searching for answers, and it's the stories like these that keep the wonder alive. Devastated and heartbroken, John and Florence struggled to come to terms with their loss. The death of their daughters had left a void so deep it seemed impossible to fill. Every corner of their home echoed with memories, each one a painful reminder of what they had lost. The grief was a constant companion, an uninvited guest that refused to leave. The pain was unbearable, the silence in their home deafening. The once lively house was now a shell of its former self, filled with an oppressive stillness. John and Florence found themselves drifting apart, each lost in their own sorrow, unable to bridge the gap that grief had created between them. Florence, clinging to her faith, became convinced that she would one day be reunited with her beloved daughters. She spent hours in prayer, seeking solace in the quiet corners of the church. Her faith was her anchor, the only thing that kept her from being completely consumed by her sorrow. She prayed for another child, a sign, anything to ease the ache in her heart. Her prayers were filled with a desperate hope, a plea for a miracle that could bring some light back into their lives. She believed that if she could just have another child, it might help to heal the wounds that had been left by their loss. A year later, Florence's prayers were answered. She gave birth to twins, two little girls. The arrival of Gillian and Jennifer brought a new sense of purpose to their lives. The house that had once been filled with silence was now filled with the sounds of laughter and the cries of newborns. They named them Gillian and Jennifer. The names were chosen with care, each one a symbol of the new beginning they hoped to find. John and Florence poured all their love and attention into their daughters, determined to give them the best life possible. At first glance, the family seemed to have found a glimmer of hope, a chance to heal. They spent their days enjoying the simple pleasures of life, taking walks in the park, and cherishing every moment they had together. The twins brought joy and laughter back into their home, and for a while it seemed as though the dark cloud of grief had finally lifted. But as the twins grew, strange and unsettling things began to happen. It started with small, inexplicable events. Objects moving on their own, whispers in the night, and the eerie feeling that they were never truly alone. The twins seemed to share a connection that went beyond the normal bond of siblings, something deeper and more mysterious. John and Florence couldn't shake the feeling that their daughters were somehow linked to the past, that the echoes of their loss had not been silenced, but had instead taken on a new and unsettling form. Gillian and Jennifer, despite being identical twins, had strikingly different personalities. Gillian was the spitting image of her deceased sister Joanna, while Jennifer bore a strong resemblance to Jacqueline. It was as if the past was repeating itself, but with a chilling twist. As the twins grew older, the similarities became even more pronounced. They had the same mannerisms, the same likes and dislikes, even the same birthmarks as their deceased sisters. It was as if Joanna and Jacqueline had been reborn. Word of the Pollock twins spread like wildfire. People whispered about reincarnation, about souls returning to Earth in new bodies. The family became the subject of intense scrutiny, their lives turned upside down. Some dismissed it as mere coincidence, a cruel trick of nature. Others, however, were convinced that something extraordinary was at play. Could it be that Joanna and Jacqueline had found their way back to their parents? Section 5. Striking similarities. The uncanny resemblances between the twins and their deceased sisters were just the tip of the iceberg. Gillian and Jennifer began to exhibit strange behaviors, as if they possessed memories that weren't their own. They would point to toys that belonged to Joanna and Jacqueline, claiming they were theirs. They even spoke about the accident, describing details that they couldn't possibly have known. Section 6. Beyond the grave. One day, while driving past the scene of the accident, Gillian and Jennifer became visibly distressed. They claimed to remember the car crash, the feeling of being trapped. Their descriptions were chillingly accurate, sending shivers down the spines of their parents. The Pollock twins' story is a haunting tale that continues to fascinate and disturb in equal measure. It's a story that forces us to confront the unknown, to question the very nature of life and death. Section 7. The Skeptic's View. Of course, there are always skeptics. In any extraordinary claim, skepticism is a natural and necessary response. It is the balance that keeps us grounded, urging us to seek evidence and question the improbable. Some argue that the similarities between the twins and their deceased sisters were purely coincidental. They suggest that in a world full of coincidences, it is not unusual for two sets of siblings to share certain traits or behaviors. They point to the power of suggestion, claiming that the parents' grief and belief in reincarnation influenced the twins' behavior. The skeptics argue that the parents, in their deep sorrow, might have unconsciously projected their memories and expectations onto the twins. They argue that memories are fragile, easily manipulated, and that children are particularly susceptible to suggestion. Children, with their vivid imaginations and desire to please adults, can easily adopt and internalize the stories they hear. While their arguments may hold some weight, they fail to fully explain the extent of the similarities and the twins' uncanny knowledge of the accident. The skeptic's perspective, though grounded in rationality, often overlooks the depth and specificity of the twins' recollections. The skeptics also bring up the idea of cryptomnesia, where forgotten memories resurface without the person being aware of their origin. They suggest that the twins might have overheard conversations or seen photographs that later influenced their memories. Psychological theories like these provide a framework for understanding how memories can be constructed and reconstructed. However, they still struggle to account for the precise details the twins recalled, details that were never openly discussed or documented. The skeptic's view is essential in any investigation as it challenges us to look deeper and question our assumptions. It reminds us that human perception is fallible and that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. In the end, the truth may lie somewhere between belief and skepticism. It is through this rigorous examination of all perspectives that we inch closer to understanding the mysteries that surround us. The skeptic's view, while often seen as dismissive, plays a crucial role in the pursuit of knowledge. It is a reminder that every story has multiple sides, and it is our duty to explore them all. Section 8, A Mystery Unsolved. The Pollock Twins story remains a mystery, a puzzle with no easy answers. Was it reincarnation, coincidence, or something else entirely? We may never know for sure. But one thing is certain, their story continues to captivate our imaginations, forcing us to confront the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. It's a story that reminds us that life is full of surprises, that there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. Section 9. Your turn to decide. What do you think? Do you believe in reincarnation? Have you ever experienced anything that defied rational explanation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Section 10. Keep the mystery alive. If you're intrigued by the Pollock Twins story, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the unexplained. We'll delve deeper into the world of reincarnation, paranormal activity, and other mysteries that continue to baffle and amaze. Until next time, keep exploring the unknown.